Hey, welcome back. Now we will discuss about star args and double star quarks in Python functions. Okay? So what exactly are those? So by default, a function must be called with the correct number of arguments, which we have seen. Okay? However, sometimes you may not know how many arguments that will be passed into your function. The star args and double star quarks allow functions to accept unknown number of arguments. Okay? So basically, when you do not know how many arguments will be passed into your function, you can use these star args and double star quarks. Okay? So what exactly is the arbitrary arguments? Basically, it is represented by star args inside of the Python documentation. If you do not know how many arguments will be passed into your function, add a star before the function parameter name. Okay? This way, the function will receive a tuple of arguments and can access the items accordingly. Okay? And these arbitrary arguments are often shortened to star args in Python documentation. Alright, so now let's define a function. And this function will return the sum of all of the numbers that has been passed as an argument to that particular function. So here, let's define a function. Def sum numbers. And the idea behind this function is that we will grab a bunch of numbers and return the sum of all of the numbers. First of all, let's start with 3 numbers. Okay, so let's do num1 comma num2 comma num3. Okay, and here we can return num1 plus num2 plus num3. Okay, and here what we have to do, we have to call the function sum numbers. Let's pass 1 comma 2 comma 3. This is our function right now. Run the program. Okay, what we have to do, we have to print, right? So let's print. All right, now run the program. We are getting 6. Okay, so this is fine, but what if we want to sum all of the numbers that has been passed to this function, something like 4 comma 5. In that case, what we have to do, we have to go here and tell the Python like, hey, num4, something like that. Okay, you get the idea, but we don't want to do that. We want to get all of the numbers inside of the arguments and return the sum. So how we can do that? We can do that by using the arbitrary arguments. So here what we can do, we can just do something like this, star and then args. Okay, and here what I'll do, I will just print the args. Okay, I am not printing the star args, I am just printing the args here. All right, run the program. We are getting a tuple back. Okay, and that particular tuple has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Basically, whatever we are passing as an argument, that will be converted to a tuple. Okay, now this is quite good, right? Also, what we can do, it is not mandatory to call it args, but it is a common practice to call all of the arbitrary arguments star args. But what we can do here, we can do something like this, f2 numbers. Okay, we can do the same thing here. So if I just run the program, once again, we are getting all of this. Okay, so now what we can do, we can create a variable called total equals to 0 first. And for num in numbers, all right. And here we can do total plus equals to num. All right, and then we can return the total. Okay, so this is how we can sum all of the numbers from a list or a tuple, basically. Okay, so now if I run the program, As you can see, we are getting 15. And now if I do something like this, print some numbers, let's add something like 10 and 20, basically save that and run the program. So we are getting 30 here. Okay, so as you can see, our sum numbers function is not dependent on the number of arguments which we are passing while calling the function. Okay, so here, what is star args? The star args parameters allow a function to accept any number of positional arguments, which is very, very important. For keyword arguments, we have this double star quarks. Inside the function, args become a tuple containing all of the past arguments, which we just saw, right? So if I just print here the numbers, okay, run the program, as you can see, we are getting the first tuple for this function call, okay, and we are getting the second tuple for this function call. And also, if I just pass only one single number here, print of something like 10, or let's do 5, run the program, as you can see, that is not a matter. Okay, so we can call the function with only one single positional argument as well. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So this is the arbitrary arguments in Python, which is represented by star args.